When you picture a business meeting, where does your mind go? Is it a Mad Men style smoke-filled boardroom full of sad, middle-aged men in muted colored suits? Is it a depressed, cubicle-bound employee sitting in a large room saying nothing while three people who make 3 times as much money as them talk for an hour? As a marketing professional, it's a stereotype that I've rallied against all my career. We're called clever girl marketing, after all. I lead with empathy. I try to let everyone feel like they have a voice and are valued. And we can laugh a little. We don't have to talk like we're at a funeral. A little fun never hurt anybody. Our guest today is a master at embracing the play to empower your work. Erin Diehl is a Business Improv Edutainer, Failfluencer, and Professional Zoombie. Through a series of unrelated dares, Erin created Improve It, a unique professional development company rooted in improv comedy that pushes leaders and teams to laugh, learn, play, and grow. She's also the proud host of the Improve It podcast, which helps develop leaders and teams through play, improv, and experiential learning. Hi, Erin. Thank you so much for joining us.
Heather, I am so excited to be here today. I'm excited to talk all things boundaries, all things that's a hard no. Even though I'm an improviser and I say yes and a lot, I think no is a yes and to yourself. So
you know what? I'm so glad you bring that up. I have a question for you, but we're gonna sidetrack already. We're already off the rails. No, this is what happens with improv.
That's right.
So I yes and all the time with my clients. My brother does improv, and so I learned it from him. And so a client, we'll have very collaborative conversations with other marketers and our clients and stuff. And someone will bring up something and someone will bring something else. And I'm like, I think we're doing a yes and, like, it's not an either or, right? So there's lots of ways things can come together. But sometimes it's yes and no, yes and
that's it.
No, I can't do it this way. So anyway, I'm so glad you brought that up, and I can't wait to talk about improv and boundaries with you. So let's start with what you do, and then we'll talk about what I always talk about. So
I know. Is it bad? I'm sick of talking about myself, and I just want to talk about you. But I will tell you, and I'm pumped for this conversation because I don't think it's celebrated enough, and I love that you have an entire show about it. So,
thanks. Yeah,
I'll stop it. I'll stop digressing but I'm here for it.
Oh, cool. Well, I mean, it's all about improv and stuff. So let's just already. This is a very fun episode, right? We're like 2 minutes in, and it's very fun. So, so tell us about how embracing play, and improvisational thought. How does that improve our businesses?
Oh, okay. I have so many things, but I'm going to start with the word play because I love it. Mm-hmm. So I always set an intention for the year, a one-word intention. Last year, my one word was peace. Mm-hmm. And I did find peace in a very unexpected way. That's a whole other podcast episode. This year, my word is play. And
good.
I was like the improviser who wasn't improvising there for a minute. I have a 5-year-old son who all he does is play. And it's such a wonderful reminder of how we are all born into this world with imaginations and creativity and just the ability to improvise all the time. It's funny when you say the word improv, people get nervous, but this right here is an improvised conversation.
Yeah.
When you label it, people get nervous, but we're doing it all day long. But what happens as we get into our careers, we go through school, we think we have to be a certain way and be professional, and we lose that playfulness, that inhibition, and what we are actually doing to ourselves is stifling creativity or stifling innovation. And in my case, why it's my word for this year, I was sort of dimming my freak flag, if you will. I love a wig and a sketch character, and I love to play. I do. And I've done it my whole life. I've been in sketch comedy and improv basically since I was 4. And I hadn't done that in a while. And so for me, as a leader, as an organizational founder, all the things, for me not to play was actually holding back my team, because I have a team of 22 improv professionals who play all day long.
Mm-hmm.
But I realized that I had not allowed myself to play. I had actually dimmed my own light, my own playfulness, because I thought I needed to fit in this certain box for a moment. And when you witness that individually, you can see it on a collective scale, how so many people do the exact same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it is actually dimming their light that they're born with, the gifts that they're here to give us.
Mm-hmm.
So in a professional setting, when you don't add play to the workday, you're stifling creativity, which stifles production, which stifles productivity and all of the things.
Yeah.
So I'm a big proponent of that word.
So 2 thoughts jumped in my mind as you were talking. So I have this business coach, and she specializes in helping the leaders of marketing agencies grow, right? So I'm all about growth this year. And so we're growing. It's all about business development. And she's like, you need to be less hands-on. But the thing I love most of all in my business is building a really funny 404 page for a website. And that's the page you go to when it can't find the page you want, right?
Yes, I know exactly what it was. Yeah.
And so to me, that is like the most soul hugging, like the thing that gives me joy. And I'll lay at night just thinking about some gag, some joke for a 404 page. So like there's a rule in our company, like even if I don't build the site, I'm building that 404 page. I want that.
Yes.
Page. So
okay. You got to send me a 404 page today that I need.
I'll
that
send
will
you
spark
a
joy
list
in my
of
life.
examples. Yeah.
Okay.
My favorite one was for a recent one was for a business coach. Hi, Scott. And he is all about be the buffalo, about charging the storm, right? And so we put buffaloes all over his website. And so his 404 page is a herd of cows, right? It's the opposite, because cows run away from the storm and they look really stupid, and it's like, something went wrong here. So it's just,
so good.
It's so it not only is it fun for me, but it's fun for the user of a website, and it tells the user that you pay attention to details and you're thinking about their experience. And so that adds to the whole effect of your marketing. So anyway, that's the joy for me. And that's the fun thing I like to do. And then I was thinking, you were talking about how your 5-year-old likes to play all day, right? So my youngest is an artist. I'm an artist. I went to art school. I'm an art school dropout. And but in the busyness of being a mom, and I had a nonprofit going, and I was working and all this stuff, rushing around. We have to get kids to school and to soccer and all the things. And we always had all paints and stuff around for them to paint all the time. So they had an easel in the kitchen with paints and all this stuff. And we had to go somewhere. And I was like, you got to put the paints down. We got to go. And they literally had a meltdown, just screaming, and just said, I just want to paint.
Oh.
And I said, me too.
Isn't that the truth?
I feel the same way.
Yes.
We got stuff to do. Let's go.
Yes.
So, to this day, like they're an artist. They're about to get their BFA, and there are moments when it's, I just want to
paint. I love that. Yeah. Okay. And I know we're probably jumping around a million topics, but I have to share this with you. So I have, every morning I have a pretty solid routine, and I do these I am statements. And my first I am statement is, I am an amazing mom to an artist. That is what I want for my son, is to live a creative life. I don't know what kind of art. I don't know if it's music, painting, theater, whatever it might be. But I grew up in the arts, obviously. And for me, it's all about cultivating a sense of play for him. And I love that that's what your kids are doing. And I hope that that's what I can manifest for my own family. He is very creative. And I will say, I'm not given the gift of anything athletic. Okay. Throw a ball at my face. It's hitting my nose. And, I'm Marsha Brady from the Brady Bunch. And so like no hand-eye coordination. But I was given the gift of gab. And I was given the gift of communication and, creativity, and I see that in him, and I just want to nurture that. So kudos to you for doing that yourself. That's what I aspire to be, as having a child in the arts.
Well, tell me
Love
more about
that.
these I am statements. What are they,
Mm.
and why do you do them in the morning?
Oh, this is a favorite topic of mine, Heather. I'm so
Oh,
intrigued by this show. By the way, these are all topics that I don't really get into on mine. So
oh, okay.
yes,
Okay.
I am statements for me. I'm a pretty spiritual human. Okay. I would call myself I'm a little wacky and a little woo. And for me,
Isn't
manifesting,
everybody a little wacky and a
yeah,
little woo in some
I
way or another?
I hope so.
Most
I
people?
want
Yeah.
that for
In some
humanity.
way?
I
Yeah.
do. Yeah. I so essentially what I do every 5 years or so is I jot down what I want for my life in the next 10 years. And after I like just give myself 30 minutes to dump on a page what I think about in the next 10 years of my life, I go back, I circle the things that are sort of sticking out as themes, and I turn them into I am statements. And so every morning I wake up, I do a free writing journal exercise where I just kind of rage on the page, if you will. And then I do my 10 I am statements and I say 5 things I'm grateful for. But the I am statements are things that have not yet happened, but I am saying that I am already those things. And I will tell you this, I started this practice 5 years ago, and I go back and look at my old journals, and what I was I aming 5 years ago has come to fruition.
Wow.
So
Wow.
I have a new list I started a new list in 2023. So it was really, and I talk about this too in a variety of ways. I got a whole exercise that guides you through it. My last name is Diehl. It's called the Ideal Day. And it just helps you understand, what do you want out of your ideal day. That's another way to go about it, is really getting specific in what is. So, and I even broke it down into an acronym. Your I is your I am statement. I am what? Your D is, what are you doing first thing in the morning? Your I, so my name isn't spelled like Deal, it's Diehl. The other I is, what is your influence? What are you consuming? What are you being influenced by? And then the E is your environment. Like, where are you working? What are you wearing in that environment? The H is, how are you feeling? And the L is, what's the last thing you're doing before you go to bed? And by that exercise, you're pie in the sky. You're not doing what you're currently doing. This is, where do you want to go? And that's another way to go about it. But the I am statements, they're really powerful, because you trick yourself into believing you are.
Yeah. Well, it's like setting that intention, and we always talk about building those neural pathways. And a while ago, my former co-host and I had an episode where we talked about talking to yourself, talking to your brain more than listening to your brain, because your brain will say all kinds of terrible things to you.
Yes,
and
it
tell you
will.
negative things. And so you have to like kind of drown out those voices by talking to yourself and telling yourself other things. So this is right along the same lines. I think
Yes.
that's really fascinating. So
Can I share you an exercise with you, though, that I have for that? Do you want to know
sure.
that?
Yeah. So,
I
but
know.
just, you'll love this. Our former co-host, Sarah Saunders, she called it her shitty committee. The shitty committee in her brain would say these terrible things to her. So then she had to
Yes.
form a positive posse to kind of surround her and
Hell
talk them
yes.
down. Yeah, it's to this day I bring it up all the time because it's hilarious. But
That
it's
is
true.
awesome. The shitty
Yeah.
committee. I'm super here for that. Okay, the mine sounds boring. I'm not even. No, you
No,
know
no,
what, Sarah, you nailed it.
Sure.
No, shitty committee is way better. But okay, this is it. It's called New Choice because it's an activity pulled from the improv stage. Like I always say, the best news is you don't need a stage or a scene partner, because the scene partner is your mind. That was your mind being blown, Heather, right there. So mind. So it's very simple. When you start to do start to say a limiting belief in your mind, it keeps ruminating. You just stop with a clap, a pattern interruption, and you tell yourself new choice. This is a game we play on stage to change the scene up. But you change
I've
the
seen
scene
this.
to your mind.
Yes. Okay.
So new choice. And then the second step, super, super important. you forgive yourself, because we're human beings. We all say negative things to ourselves. It's just part of the ego. It's just, we're wired, right? So you forgive yourself. And then step 3 is you reframe it with a positive posse. You give it a more loving, kind, positive thought instead. And then that becomes your mantra when that negative thought keeps coming up. And I always tell people, they're like, how do I clap? But if I'm in a room filled with people, it's like, just put your hands together. It's going to stop you in your tracks. And then it's going to remind you that you need that reframe. The forgiving is really huge too, because I beat myself up for beating myself up sometimes, you know, and it's like, you know, we're human.
So can you act this out for us? Can you give us an example?
Yes. Okay.
Okay.
So, all right. Can you be my guinea pig? Can I ask you like a challenging thought?
Boy.
Or I'll do it.
Sure.
I'll do it.
Sure.
I'll do it.
No, that's fine.
Okay. All right. So what is something like a limiting belief that keeps coming up for you? What's something that's a scarcity statement for you currently?
Time. Just, I never have enough time to do all the things I need to do. And this is why, you know, you just set the boundaries, right? So
Yes.
anyway.
Yes. Okay. We're going to clap. We're going to say new choice.
New choice.
Now you're going to forgive yourself. Just say in your mind, I forgive you. It's okay.
I forgive you. It's okay.
It's okay. And now reframe that. Instead of, I never have enough time to get all the things done. How could you reframe that in a more positive, loving way?
Well, what I've been saying to myself is, isn't it amazing I'm this busy? Like, that so many people are interested, and it's exciting. I just need to figure out how, right?
Yes,
so
Heather.
That's kind of what I've been doing, but I don't know if that's the same thing.
That's beautiful. You have a full life. I have a very full life. It's a beautiful way. I have a very full life, a beautiful way to spend it. You know what's funny? I'm gonna be honest with you. Today's one of those days I'm like back to back. You know, I had to give a lot of energy. And as I was like getting ready for this episode, I was like, I'm tired. Pull it together, Erin, right? And you know what I thought about? I thought about Oprah Winfrey and how I was a guest in her audience after her 3rd taping that day, and how Oprah still gave me that energy of being the first time guest in her audience. And I have a vision board. This is how woo I am. I have a vision board directly in my peripheral behind my camera, and she's literally staring at me right now. Yeah. And I didn't even see her on the vision board while I was thinking that. But when I came in the room, I was like, there she is. That's why she's there. That's why she's there. But like, you know what I mean? It's that same feeling. It's example. Like, yes. And the new choice activity is just a way to give yourself the gift of a better thought. And then it allows you to rock around in a better headspace, a better mindset, which is ultimately our words affect our thoughts, or nope, reverse. Our thoughts affect our words, and our words affect our actions. And so it all starts there. And that's why the I am statements, the new choice, you attract what you're thinking. And so you got to change the vibe. And people, you know, there's the internet cancel culture of positive or toxic positivity. Yeah. But I really believe, like, you gotta, that is toxic if you don't believe it. But if you can believe literally, like, I have this full abundant life, I am busy because people are attracted to the goodness that I'm giving out, the energy that I'm providing, the people that are listening to this show right now. I'm giving great advice. I'm having this awesome conversation because I deserve to be here and I am worthy of it. All of those things, I think, lead you to this busy life. Like, you've manifested this abundance. Yeah. Well, thanks. That was very helpful. I'll remember that tomorrow when I'm stressing out. Right? New choice. We're going to take a break, and then we'll be right back.
I loved having this conversation with Erin. She just radiates energy. The more we spoke, the more I admired her ability to make fun around self empowerment and saying no. Need to break some negative self talk? I am brave and strong and I can do this. Need to amp yourself up to have a hard conversation at work? I am important and my needs matter and I can do this. You get it. You could write a book about the power of the energy Erin radiates. In fact, she did. We talk about that, about LSD days, and so much more. So, Erin, tell me, what is an LSD day?
Okay, this is when you take a lot of drugs. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Boundaries.
I'm
boundaries.
kidding.
Yeah.
Boundaries. HR, are you listening? No. An LSD day is something that I talk about in the book that I have coming out. And it's the first part of the book, which is all about self-love. And I started this as a practice with my team right after the pandemic because we were all just feeling super burned out. We pivoted out of an office, we're working remotely. We just felt burned
That's
out from
rough.
being on
Yeah.
screens.
Yeah.
We work from home. We're constantly on Zooms. So the thing with an LSD day, it's called a light saver day. What my former version of myself used to do before I had boundaries, Heather, putting that in there, is I would burn myself to a crisp. So my husband called this burning my candle.
Mm-hmm.
I would go and go and go until I would face plant, usually like nose to mattress, on my bed, sometimes fully clothed, and not be able to move for like hours or days. And I would obviously get sick. My body would tell me, like, you need to stop. It would push and push and push. So the LSD is actually the opposite of that. It is a preventative care for your light. You are saving your energy, saving your light. So what I suggest to my team, we now have 4-day work weeks since this book has been written. So we have a constant LSD day booked into our schedule every Friday. And I could talk about that too, because it's been a really fascinating study. But what we would do prior to that is everyone had to mandatory schedule an LSD day in their calendar and do something that filled their cup. So for me, it's like perusing the shelves at Home Goods. Okay. It's also maybe
That
going
is a fun
and
trip, I have to say.
Isn't
For some
it?
people,
It's like
not everybody. Some people
right.
get overwhelmed there, but yeah.
Right. I could just stand in there for hours and be like, do I need this lantern? Probably not. So it's whatever brings you joy. Thrifting. Some people love to thrift. We would make sure we took a picture. We would upload it. We have an LSD channel on our Slack, and we would show that picture in the Slack channel of us doing that preventative care. So the goal is prevent burnout before it starts. LSD. And we'd always,
I love that.
joke around like I'm doing my LSD. So it's just a fun pun, but now we built it into our lives. And the 4-day work week, I'll tell you, Friday, everybody has off collectively. We check emails at 11 and 4. I have people on different time zones. So collectively, whatever time is your time zone, we respond to anything that is a client. And we also respond, especially if it's anything that we need quickly or something that's very urgent. That act of care right there, it has saved my sanity on so many levels. It has been a game changer, and it became my life admin day. So I schedule most of my appointments, and then I make sure I have time to check in at work, but I'm not tied to my computer. I can do it from my phone. It's a very freeing experience, and it's been a really cool initiative for our team.
Yeah, I really admire that. I actually know a few different business owners who've instituted 4-day work weeks, and I know it's been really really impactful. Like, really, morale goes up, and people are really more invested in the company because they know the company cares about them.
Yes.
It's just really wonderful. I've tried to institute something similar where we have no meeting Monday, where we only meet internally. We don't meet with clients. That's your day to, like, for us to catch up as a team. And then I try to have a Friday. I try to have like a blocked Friday where it's just whatever admin I need to do or whatever personal stuff I need to do, but it generally ends up being work stuff. But a lot of times there's bleed over, and I'm not firm enough in setting that boundary. And so
Yeah.
it's hard, because like part of the reason I started a business was that I wanted to be able to set my own schedule. I wanted to have flexibility. My kids were younger, so I wanted to be able to be like available to do a field trip, or if they got sick, go pick them up or whatever. um but what's so funny is, because you're the business owner and you're responsible and your name's on it, and clients are clamoring for things, instead it being the people pleasing, non-boundary setting person I found myself working 18-hour days and 7 days a week,
Yes.
because I could,
Yep.
sure, of course, and I can do I want to do this thing. I want everyone to like me and be happy with me, and not leave and fire me, right?
I have been
So,
there, and I am a
yeah.
recovering people
Yeah.
pleasers turned Failfluencer.
Yeah.
But now, yes.
So, I mean, we've done lots of things in our company, like in our terms and conditions. Before people sign the contract, it's like, read our terms and conditions, and right in there is like when you can communicate with us, what to expect, how fast we'll respond. I'm not answering a text at 7 a.m. There was a
Mm-mm.
time I did, but not anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
um, so I'm working on it. I'm not quite there for a 4-day work week, but boy, that just sounds really nice. It sounds
Yes.
really,
Yes.
really
And
physically
it,
nice.
it is a game changer. And I will tell you, there was the sort of healing journey I went on to even help guide me to write this book. Slash, remember I told you my word for the year was peace in
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
2023? So I was really forced by the universe to find peace last year.
Okay. Isn't that funny how that
Because,
happens? Yeah.
I had a concussion I had a 4-month post concussion. I had what is called post concussion syndrome. It is now called something different, but at the time it was called post concussion syndrome. And I
Oh,
had symptoms for 4 months. It was basically like I was living like I was perpetually drunk and like hungover for
how
4 months.
awful.
Yes. And
Oh.
so it forced me to slow down. And I had gotten to a much better place. I wrote this book January through May, turned in the manuscript in May, went on a trip to Costa Rica to celebrate a friend's birthday. The concussion happened in Costa Rica. I come back not knowing I have a concussion, but then learning I had a concussion. And it was almost as if I was, I wrote this book talking the talk, but like my girlfriend said, I see you talking about all these self-love things on Instagram, and I look at you and I think that's great in theory, but your eyes twitching, like she like really knows me. She's like, and so it was almost as if
Yeah.
I was walking the walk, not talking the talk. And
Yeah.
then the healing from the concussion really made me walk the walk. And now I'm
Wow.
fully
Yeah.
committed to that. So my team
Wow.
loves it. I don't think we could have we had goals and parameters put in place to like see if we could keep this a thing. We did a 90-day trial,
Mm-hmm.
and we almost didn't hit the financial goal.
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you something. This is again the power of the universe. The check cleared to give us our goal at noon on December 31st.
Wow.
2023, because we were supposed to hit this goal by the end of the year in order to keep a 4-day work week in 2024.
And lo and behold.
Isn't that nuts?
Wow. That's so cool. Yeah, the universe will do this to you. Like, I started my year of no in 2019, and at the end of 2019, a client said, "What's 2020 going to be about?" And I, of
Mm.
course, little did we know. And I said, "I don't think I'm done. I think I need to keep working on this no thing." And then I got diagnosed with cancer, and the pandemic hit at the same time. So it was
Mm.
like no two, and she was like, she said no 2.0, and I was like, yeah, that's what it's going to be. And it was like graduate school training and setting boundaries, because a whole lot of things had to happen. The
Sure.
universe will, yeah, you put something out there, the universe will send it to you. Yeah.
Oh my
It's so
gosh.
funny. And I don't know if I don't want to get too woo woo, but I feel like if you just open yourself up to things, then you notice things. Really, it's kind of
Yes.
what it is. But yeah, it's so funny. Wow. I can't even imagine what that was like for you.
Ugh.
Um,
And
How
you
awful.
too. And you are a survivor. So
Yeah. No,
congratulations.
thanks. I'm good. All good.
Yes.
I live
so
in a great
happy.
town that has amazing medical care. So we have the great Cleveland
Good.
Clinic here. So I was taken very taken care. I can't speak.
I know.
Maybe I have a concussion.
Yeah, that happens to me, even with, and now I'm
Does
healed,
it?
but still,
Yeah.
but I did have some but there's a whole other thing I could tell you about, but my mom
We don't
had a
have
stroke.
time.
We don't have time.
Oh,
We don't
what was
have
that?
time.
What did you say?
So my mom had a stroke in 2020.
Oh,
Okay.
no.
And so she had aphasia. So she had trouble putting words together. I'll tell you what, I didn't realize how much healing I had to do from her experience. Like, I was a caretaker for her, there for my dad.
Hard.
Yes. And so it was very interesting because I think, again, on the woo train, that my concussion was the version of, because it was actually like I had really bad anxiety prior to getting this concussion. And I think my concussion was sort of like my way of having this experience that my mom did and sort of seeing what she went through, because a brain injury is an invisible injury that no one can really see. They still expect the same from you, but internally it's so hard. And I didn't really understand that as she was going through her experience. And she's fully recovered. She's great. She's probably like 95% who she was before it.
But now you have so much empathy. Right?
So much empathy.
Right.
So much empathy. So it was a really interesting time. And talk about boundaries. Like, I learned that, I got to say no more than I say yes. Rest is productive, because I thought rest was lazy before, because I'm super type A.
Well, the mindset I had was you had to earn rest.
That was mine too.
Right. And then I saw something that said, rest is just required if you're a human being. Like, hello.
Isn't it silly? Like, what we do as business owners and humans trying to navigate, parents, all the things.
Yeah. So I want to make sure, I know we have limited time because you're a busy gal. Tell us about Energy You. What is this?
Yes.
What is this?
So the book that I wrote is called I See You, A Leader's Guide to Energizing Your Team Through Radical Empathy. Back to my woo. Okay. I'm like, I say to people, Energy You is a curriculum that you've been studying your entire life. So, Heather, when was your birthday? You don't have to tell me the year, but what's your birthday? What day?
July 5th.
Oh, I love that day. That is the day that Energy You was founded. And that was the day that you started looking at this curriculum. So if you pull out your phone, okay, and you open it to your photos section.
But on me, I don't.
You don't have it on you? Okay. No. But just imagine you have your phone and you pull it up and you see a picture of you with your family. And let's say it's from today, right? Or yesterday. You can look at that photo and remember how you were feeling in that moment. And that is energy. And that is Energy You at work. And so Energy You is a hypothetical school. I call it a magnet school that I take readers through. I'm their professor. It turns out I don't have an actual degree or a PhD, but I am a PhD, a pretty huge deal. And I tell people I'm like a mixture of the nutty professor, and I'm not like your regular professor. I'm like a cool professor, like Amy Poehler and Mean Girls. And I take them through this journey. But the energy is really the study of human behavior. As a leader, I really believe we aren't leading people, we're leading energy. And so this entire book is written through this lens of, you're going through this Energy You curriculum and learning how to give love to yourself first. So once you can fill yourself with love, with confidence, with these I am statements, all the things, you have more to give to the people you lead. So you're a selfless leader who has more energy to bring to those around you. And by doing that, you're magnetizing the people, the community, the organization that you want to be a part of.
Mm-hmm.
And people are attracted to that. So you're essentially the visionary within this curriculum, attracting the people that are going to help you carry out that mission, the missionaries. And if you ever think about do you know what magnetiles are? It's like these little toys. They're shapes.
Yeah.
And they pull the
Mm-hmm.
magnet pulls them together, and kids can use them to build all types of creations. If you think about your organization as a magnetile creation, you've got all different shapes, all different colors, all different sizes. Everybody's coming from different places, but what attracts each other is this magnetic pull to the core of who you are. So the core values become a huge component of this Energy U curriculum as well. And we celebrate those differences. We see those differences, but collectively, who we are, what we value is the same. It's been a really, again, I told you I'm wacky and woo. But
no, I mean, it's really intriguing to me when I always think about leadership and, setting the tone for our culture, in my business, but also just in the world around me. So, yeah, it's fascinating stuff. Like, when does your book come out? Or is it out already?
Tuesday. I don't know when this is going to air, but Tuesday, February 20th, it will be in stores, Kindle, and Audible.
Perfect. Okay.
And Amazon.
We'll make sure to put links on our show notes and everything so you guys can go get it. Go get the book.
Thank you, Heather. This is, I know if you're listening, you can't see it.
Well, on video, go to YouTube. We're on video now.
Go on video.
Yeah. Nice.
It's been really fun to talk about. Like I said to you, I'm sick of talking about myself. I love talking about boundaries. I love talking about woo-woo stuff, but it's been a really cool experience to have people understand that they have so much love in their heart, but they could have so much more if they found time to slow down, set boundaries, and give love to themselves.
Amen, sister. Amen.
Well, see that parallel.
Yeah, I'm going to get the book. I'm going to read it.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for your time. This has been so much fun. What a delight. Didn't know what to expect, but this was so much fun.
I hope it met the expectations that weren't set, but I also had a blast talking to you, and I'm just
absolutely
love what you're here talking about. We need you to scream it loud and proud.
Okay. Well, thanks. Love to have you back again sometime, and you can talk more. Do some more improv. That'll be fun.
We'll do it. I'll bring some props next time. We'll have props.
Oh boy.
It's a chicken hat, Heather.
PG.
I know it's all gone. Yes. I will say our claim to fame, just to throw this out there, is we have officially trained over 36,000 people to chicken dance. That is
I heard something about this. Yeah.
Started with a chicken hat. Okay, this is why I was like props, and this is what I thought of because I have a whole bin above my head right now of chicken hats. But whenever we do an improv workshop, we used to have this chicken that had legs with sneakers attached to it at the bottom. And whenever you said the word improv, we'd pass the hat to the person on your right, and then we would do the chicken dance like you hear in a wedding. And whoever ends up with the chicken hat at the end is the improv chicken champion. Really competitive groups got very into this. That person gets a lot of pride. We'd give them a gift card. They would be the center of attention in the photo. And teams just love it. Like it became this huge thing. Well, COVID hit, can't pass around a chicken hat anymore. So now we just chicken dance. But it's been really fun to witness the evolution of the chicken hat to chicken dance. So that's what I mean with props. I'll bring some chicken hats next time.
Okay, great. Looking forward to it.
Okay, good. I'll mail you one. I got a chicken hat guy if you're interested.
Wow. Never heard that sentence before. I've got a chicken hat guy. Okay, well.
He's on Amazon, but I got him.
Okay, cool. All right, well, thanks, Erin. This has been so much fun.
Thank you, Heather.
That's a Hard No is a production of Clever Girl Marketing, my little agency in Cleveland, in partnership with our friends at Evergreen Podcasts. Many thanks to our amazing team, including Maura Del Rosario, our production and marketing coordinator, Noah Fouts, our amazing producer, editor, and composer who wrote our theme music and performed it with his band, The Big Leagues, and our new video producer and editor, Kay Holmberg. You can find show notes and resources on our website, and you can find other fun stuff on our socials. We're Hard No Podcast. Find your no, then say it with me.